In part one of this series, I made one thing clear, that no one should have died in the protests that have taken place in Minnesota. That episode was about context, how tensions escalated, and why tragedy became possible. In this episode, I want to look directly at the shootings themselves, what we know, what we don't know, and why examining all of the surrounding circumstances matters if we want to prevent outcomes like this from happening again. On January 7, Renee Good, a United States citizen and mother of three, was shot and killed in a street about 1 mile from the place where George Floyd was killed nearly 6 years earlier. In a separate incident on January 24th, Alex Pretti, a 37-year-old nurse from Minneapolis, was shot and killed by ICE agents about a mile from where Renee Good was killed. Let's begin by looking at the shooting of Alex Pretti. Be aware, the images are disturbing. I'm using footage from the BBC YouTube channel because of its clarity.
The first video we have of Alex Pretti, he's in the road, holding a phone and talking with a federal agent. The officer pushes him, and he steps backwards. But in this video, as in others, Alex Pretti had nothing in one hand, a phone in the other. We see two people interacting with an agent. We then see an agent push one of those people, then push the second person. Alex Pretti steps between them and the agent and is pepper sprayed. He's wrestled to the ground by a number of agents. He's on his knees, bent over. His hands are on the floor and he's struggling against being held down. One agent repeatedly strikes in the direction of his head. And take note of this agent. He has nothing in his right hand, reaches down and removes what appears to be a gun from Alex Pretti's waistband. Then he steps back, holding the pistol. Less than a second after the gun is removed, an agent fires the first shot. As Alex Pretti lies motionless, further shots are fired while agents are standing clear of his body. In total, 10 shots were fired in 5 seconds.
Okay, it's hard to see, but we know he had a gun, and it appears that an officer disarmed him just before the shots that killed him were fired. This happened so quickly. One thing you can't hear because of the narration in the video is that officers were shouting, "Gun! Gun!" That is clearly audible in other widely available videos. Did the agent who first shot Pretti see that he had been disarmed? I couldn't say, and I don't believe that anyone except the officer himself can honestly answer that question. The only thing that is clear is that this event happened in a highly charged, noisy, and confrontational atmosphere. Now, I want you to watch this widely circulated video of Alex Pretti at another protest just 11 days prior to the day of his death.
On the morning of January 13th, our team received a tip that federal agents were blocking a street at the corner of East 36 and Park Avenue in Minneapolis. We arrived around 10:15 a.m. We saw observers shouting at the agents as they walked back to their vehicles. When they started driving away, the man kicked their taillight. An agent then got out of the vehicle, grabbed him, and pushed him to the ground. During the altercation, agents fired tear gas and pepper balls into the crowd. They continued to hold the man down before they retreat, and he walks away. The man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to what Pretti was wearing on the day he was killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband.
Was that peaceful protest? Like Kyle Rittenhouse in Kenosha in 2020, a comparison that some people won't appreciate, Alex Pretti chose to insert himself into a volatile situation while armed, whatever his intentions were, and I'm willing to believe that they were, at least in his mind, very noble. He knowingly placed himself into a scenario where physical confrontation with armed officers was not just possible, but likely. I'm not saying that bad judgment should be a capital crime. I am saying as clearly as possible that Alex Pretti should not have died that day, and I don't believe that pointing out his poor judgment is an attack on the victim. If you think careful analysis matters more than instant outrage, sharing this video helps keep that approach visible. Now, let's look at the shooting of Renee Good.
You'll see an ICE agent stopping a red SUV yesterday One tries to open the car door. The driver reverses and then pulls away. This is the ICE agent approaching the vehicle. There's the vehicle reversing. Now, the officer on the other side of the car, as the SUV pulls away, opens fire. The SUV then slams into a parked car.
Approaches the car. Her car is blocking traffic. He circles around to the driver's side.
That's fine. U.S. citizen.
Asgood's wife, who is also filming, tries to get inside the car. Other officers rush toward the driver's side door.
Out of the car. Get out of the
Good seems to try to back up and then drives forward just before the same agent fires his gun in his right hand.
This is a very different situation, but it's still just as terrible to watch. There have been assertions on both sides that I can't really untangle, so I'll tell you what I saw. I don't know if she meant to push him out of the way, but from other angles in other videos, you can see that her vehicle did make contact with the officer. But to me, it doesn't look like she was trying to run over the ICE agent. I thought it looked like she panicked and hit the gas trying to get away. Did the officer who shot her believe his life was being threatened? Again, I couldn't say, but it's not that implausible. There are reports that he had been intentionally hit by a vehicle in a prior incident. I will say that I believe in both cases the officers were under extraordinary stress. What else did I see? I saw someone blocking a roadway during a high-tension law enforcement operation. I saw behavior that was, at a minimum, reckless and confrontational. I'm tempted to use harsher language, but the larger point doesn't require it, and YouTube doesn't like it. Anyway, these were choices that carried obvious risk. So, am I victim blaming? Did she get what she deserved? Oh, God, no. That's a horrible thing to think. I don't know of anyone on the right who has said that either Good or Pretti deserved to die. Quite the contrary. But I am saying that had she not intentionally put herself in that position, which she did, that Ms. Good would still be alive today. Let me say this as plainly as possible. I do not believe the officers involved woke up that morning wanting to kill anyone. I do not believe Alex Pretti or Renee Good wanted to die, and I do not believe that most protesters want bloodshed. What I do believe is that bad decisions made in an artificially intensified environment collided with fear and exhaustion and contributed to events and deaths which are tragically irreversible. In the final part of this series, I want to step back and ask a harder question. Who benefits from environments like this? Why were tensions allowed and in some cases may have been encouraged to escalate this far? And what role did political incentives play in shaping the choices made by officials on all sides? Because if we only argue about guilt and innocence and ignore incentives and pressure, we will learn nothing. That final piece of this series shall be available tomorrow. This is Pablo El Molinero.